Hey, hello to my friends and Pega partners from all over the world. Welcome to this 2026 Blueprint edition of the Pega Partner Hour, a monthly webinar that provides Pega partners with support in the sales, technical, and industry domains. As a reminder, we will be recording this session. If you prefer not to be recorded, please feel free to drop from the call, and you're welcome to watch the recording at a later time, which you can find on the Pega Partner portal and on the YouTube channel. A couple of quick notes. Registration is open for PegaWorld, held again in Las Vegas on June 7th to June 9th this year. A thing to remember right now, early registration brings lower costs, and early bird pricing ends on February 27th. So if that interests you, please find your way to pegaworld.com. And I can't say it enough. Once the prices go up, they do not come back down. So again, February 27th is when early bird pricing ends. And then registration is also open for the Pega Government User Group. This event will be held at our brand new Washington, D.C. office on March 3rd. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is the grand opening of the office. So if you're in the area, please register and attend. This is a great event if you are in the public sector space. There's no charge. Partners and clients are welcome to attend. The registration address, which you can see on the top, please feel free to take a screenshot or watch the recording to get that address, but it's pega.com/xd/pega government-user-group-mar-3-2026. Hope to see you there. Okay. Hey, listen, today's showcase speaker really needs no introduction to anyone who regularly attends the Pega Partner Hour. I've lost count exactly, but Kerim, I think this is your 5th episode. If this was Saturday Night Live, I'd have to give you a gold jacket. So instead of my normal long introduction, I thought we'd do a Fun Fact Friday episode. So I'm asking everybody, did you know Kerim was born in Istanbul, Turkey? He joined Pega in 1992 as a software engineer, has worked his way up to his current role, and he has helped grow this company over the past 3 decades. He holds a BS in mathematics and computer science from Indiana University of Pennsylvania. And as chief product officer, he was responsible for over 1,700 reports. What I didn't know, Kerim, is that you founded and established Pega Academy. And by proxy, that makes you responsible for the enablement over 1.5 million technology lessons to tens of thousands of learners worldwide. All that to say, I don't think it's a stretch for me to say there's likely nothing more important than you're going to do today than to listen to what this man has to say for the next 45 minutes to an hour. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the very distinguished, my friend, Mr. Kerim Akgonul.
Wait. Yes, okay. I just had to check to make sure I was not on mute. Well, Randy, that's a hell of an introduction. So so thank you very much. Hello everyone. I'm guessing you can all hear me clearly.
Loud and clear, my friend.
Loud and clear. That's great. You know, these types of sessions are always interesting, especially because when you do them as the person like sort of like delivering it, I can't see anyone. I can only see myself, which is basically always makes me wonder if the messages are actually landing. So you know, feel free to give me is there thumbs down? Yeah, there's thumbs up or thumbs down if they basically were getting the point across or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, thank you. Good. Now I feel like there are people out there. I'm not just talking, into the void here. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, start with a couple of slides and then pop into a system very, very quickly. So thank you for that. I believe you can see my slide right now. So let's just get started. So one of the exciting things that happened in 2025 was we actually basically participated in a select number of analyst reviews evaluating our software and our technology, And I would say we got pretty high marks across the analysts in every single solution that we take to market, from customer service to automation, to task management, to robotics, to AI decisioning, as well as some important ones, such as the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for Business Orchestration and Automation Technologies, which is also known as BOAT, and the Real-Time Interaction Management Wave from Forrester. This is very much for the one-to-one customer engagement and being able to deliver real-time messaging and decisions directly to customers that are engaging. So we're very proud of these results. We don't think this is the end result that we are going for with our products, but we do hope that these reports and the write-ups from the analysts with a declaration of what differentiates Pega and how well it works when you all implement these solutions for our customers will help you in your ability to showcase value, sell your services, and sell your expertise in bringing value to our joint customers. So my main objective of this is maybe to brag a little bit, but also to make sure that you know that these are there and that these are available to you, and that we want you to leverage these. We hope you can leverage these in your conversations and engagements with your customers as well as with your prospects. We're good? All right. I got one reaction. So okay, I'm sorry, I was going the wrong direction here. Now, also a big part of 2025 was, as you know, Blueprint. And every single one of those analyst interactions that we had in 2025 was really started and driven by Pega Gen AI Blueprint. I'm guessing I have an audience of Blueprint experts. Give me a thumbs up if you've done a Blueprint so far this year. All right. I can't tell how many I'm getting, but I'm hoping that you're doing Blueprints every day. I've only done 3 today so far, but I hope to do a couple more, and we'll definitely do one in a couple of seconds. A part of these days working with Pega means you're staying up to date with our Blueprint, and you're using it every day in every customer interaction, customer communication, and showcasing the solutions that we can bring directly to the customers. And 2025 was a big year for Blueprint. We had 23 releases of Blueprint. As you know, Blueprint is a SaaS solution, so it's continuously evolving. One of the main capabilities, big changes in Blueprint that we had in the year was a lot of effort in the security and the privacy of the IP assets that our customers trust us with when they use Blueprint. So one of the big changes you saw is for all of our customers that are using Blueprint and uploading documents and assets. Those assets are actually persisted in S3 buckets that are essentially separated and specific to each customer and encrypted for each customer, so that nobody else can get access to it. We don't have access to it. It is their assets. It just sits in the Pega Cloud's S3 infrastructure. We also deployed Pega Blueprint across the globe this year. So in addition to running and storing assets and Blueprint definitions in the US, based on organizational mappings, Blueprint will store assets in the UK, in Europe, in Singapore, in Tokyo, or in Australia. Those are the regions where we deployed Blueprint into, and making sure that we respect the regional requirements that our customers have in where their assets are stored. And back in February, so it's it's coming up to 1 year anniversary, I guess, in just 12 days. We also released the one-to-one customer engagement blueprint. Now, if you haven't tried the one-to-one customer engagement blueprint, one favor that I would ask from each one of you is that you try it out before, next week. It is very easy to use. It is very straightforward. All you have to do is enter your customer's name. It will default to their website, and it will run through a process that shows the power of customer engagement in identifying the business, the product lines, the style, the way that they talk and reach out to their customers, how they engage their customers, build offers, build treatments, build strategies, and be able to really give that one-to-one customer engagement experience directly from Blueprint. It is extremely powerful. It is easy to use, and it is very well designed to articulate the value of the solution. Now, my other big ask is around the partner-powered blueprint. We are working with most of you on this call, I imagine, to establish the partner-powered blueprint. It really comes with two primary capabilities. One, you get to see your own branding on Blueprint. So instead of basically saying Pega Blueprint, it basically says your organization's name, Blueprint. So you get to basically showcase your expertise to the clients. And then two, it connects to a knowledge-based repository, what we call an industry buddy, that you populate with your IP based on your expertise of solving multiple, various business problems. And there's a standard documentation format that will give you that allows you to populate this repository with. So that means when you do that, and when you use Blueprint with your corporate ID, in addition to Pega's expertise and the industry assets that comes from Pega and that comes from the large language models, your blueprints get infused with your industry expertise, and it happens only for you. It happens only for the blueprints that are built by your organization. So you get to differentiate with your expertise of having done these types of solutions before, and be able to leverage that foundational knowledge and have that be immediately reflected in Blueprint. So we have a couple of partners that are already moving quite rapidly in this, and I believe it will be important to participate if you're in the Pega ecosystem and looking to drive.
Kerim, I wanted to jump in. Thank you for bringing this up. We do have a bunch of them that have started doing their partner-powered blueprint. We've been working on it. And here's the fact. If you don't know how to do it, you all have my email. Send me an email. I'll help you get set up on it, or I'll make sure you know who your partner manager is. Typically, your partner manager would help you with that. I can certainly help with that. But yeah, I can't emphasize enough the partner-powered blueprint and how important it is for your organization. It's really going to make you just look so much better. It's going to make your presentations better, and it's going to help you use it a lot more. I mean, Kerim, I thank you for bringing it up.
Right. So my ask is, in case it's not clear, let's go. Let's get going on this and let's move forward. And it is, as you all see these days, we need to move faster than ever before. And this is one of those areas. So let's, speaking of moving faster, let's keep going faster and let's talk about what's coming in Blueprint. So I want to do a quick demo of some capabilities of the next version of Blueprint that is going to be imminent in the next couple of days. I want to show you three major new capabilities. The first one is essentially our foray into the vibe experience, and which essentially means being able to textually write asks to improve an application and have the system react. Two, so far, one of our favorite capabilities of Blueprint is the ability to preview an application, so you can actually experience and see the runtime of what the application will look like for users. We're taking that beyond preview. Now, when in that preview, you can start doing editing and authoring and changing the user experience. And then the third is a concept called agentic case processing. And this is very much a key element of having end-to-end automated processes when there are human participants in play. So, shall we do a quick demo?
Let's do it. Let's see it.
Randy's helping me out, so I don't feel like I'm talking to just myself. There we go. Oh, thank you for all the thumbs ups. All right, I'm going to share my screen. If you let me know when you can see it. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. We're still on you.
Oh, well, that's terrible. Let's get you out of there quick. All right.
There you go. We're up.
All right. So I'm going to show you some capabilities that are coming in the next couple of days and weeks. So here we are. I am assuming, like I said before, I'm assuming that you are all experts and you've done this before. So we can go to banking, we can go to government, we can go to insurance, healthcare. But it is a special day, not because it's Friday the 13th, but it's of course the day before Valentine's Day. So I'm going to pop in to the just for fun section, and I'm going to go into the holiday and festivities subcategory here. And from here, I'm going to select a purpose to celebrate Valentine's Day, right? If if you haven't made plans, it's not too late. And for the organization, as we basically work with multiple organizations, I'm going to choose Hallmark cards because I was trying to figure out, what makes sense for a business application for celebrating Valentine's Day, and it looks like the Hallmark cards will actually make sense. Excuse me for a second. All right. So as you all know, this is where Blueprint does its thing. It goes out there and it tries to basically figure out, well, if you're going to build an application to celebrate Valentine's Day, what are going to be the typical workflows as they get packaged into case types for that use case. And we got these 4 ones. Now, that seems like a lot of work for Valentine's Day. And I don't want to be running 4 different workflows at the same time. I wanted to consolidate. And I hope you can see on the left bottom, there's this new icon. Do you see it?
Yes, it's small, but we can see it. There it is.
And here it is. We basically get our Vibe Assistant that just shows up when I click on it. And it can do all sorts of things, right? It can add new workflows, it can delete workflows, it can edit workflows, or it can do things like merge one or multiple workflows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it, let's do it. Can you please merge these 4 workflows into a single workflow? Yep. Valentine's Day master plan is what it basically suggests. So what it will do is now, instead of having 4 different workflows, we'll have 1 workflow to be able to handle this. And you can do all sorts of basically stuff. But this vibe window on the left operates on what you see in the context of Blueprint. And you'll see this, the Vibe Assistant show up in each and every part of the Blueprint experience. And it's going to let you essentially evolve your solution, advance it, make changes to it, extend the thinking behind the various different elements, and it will give you essentially recommendations on how to make changes to it. Great. So now we basically have a workflow. It's quite an involved workflow. It takes care of ideas and meals and gifts and ambiance setting, etc. And we have our vibe window right on the left again. And again, you can basically suggest alternate stages to it and change the data model. You can ask it what it can do for me. It will tell you what it's able to do. But as I look at this workflow, and as Valentine's Day fast approaching, I notice a major problem. Oh no, we are missing flowers. Can you please advance this workflow to account for flowers? Let's see what Blueprints does for us. Oh, great. Yes. So it's basically suggesting that we extend the workflow to add a new stage, some various steps around basically the coordination with a flower delivery, which I think makes sense for this application. Now our blueprint just extended has new capabilities on it, right? Now, not everything needs to be typed up, but I do like talking into it, by the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse this vibe section in here. We see the stage flower arrangements. Yeah, the flowers need to happen much earlier, right? What does AI know about romance? So we'll bring it much closer, and now we have basically a stage that is much closer. Now there's a couple of steps in here. There it says, okay, I don't want this. Okay, we'll just basically have some sort of a gift list that we basically select from. There's a celebration budget. Okay, maybe we'll capture that. Why not? So these are basically the data elements in the various steps in the process. And this is the step that we just added, right? Again, just keeps asking for budget stuff. The flower type and quantity. Now, one of the things that I mentioned to you before was the agentic assignment processing. And this is where it basically becomes relevant. You see this checkbox on the screen that says enable agentic assignment processing. So I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to click on this to explain to you that this capability enables a Pega AI agent to proactively reach out to the assignee, in this case over email, and gather the information needed to complete this assignment. So imagine basically you have a step in the process that requires someone external to the application, either works in the company or is an end customer, to basically provide additional data, additional information, additional documentation. Instead of making someone in the back office call up that person or send them an email and get that stuff done, we just let the AI agents do that. And since I've been married for over 20 years, I'm actually going to ask my wife what kind of flowers does she want, because I still don't know. So we're going to basically push that agentic assignment processing, and even though she's not a participant in the system, we'll basically get her to complete it. And as you see, the icon of that step changed. So that is now an agentic assignment rather than a sort of a back office user assignment. And then when we go into the next parts of the blueprint, we'll actually get a chance to see a simulation of how that would work during a runtime. And all of this is in place so that when you are proposing solutions to your customers, you can sort of capture the ideas and let them visualize and experience the power of what you can bring to your customers, and they can apply it to their use cases. So this basically Vibe Assistant capability applies to to the of course to the data and integration step. It applies to the steps where we basically have different personas, and then of course we pop into one of our favorite capabilities of Blueprint, which is preview my app. So I trust you've all seen this before. You've all done this many times.
Yeah,
I
they
keep
have.
saying that as a way of just sort of encouraging everyone to do it many times, by the way, in case it was too subtle.
Well,
All right, so I'm gonna.
well, and
So
Kerim, I think it's worth noting, right? Um, we keep saying that there's new releases every 2 weeks, like the old '80s commercial. If you haven't seen Blueprint lately, you really just haven't seen Blueprint, right? If you're not using Vibe, if you didn't know that was in there, you're not up to speed on it. Like, that's awesome. Vibe's unbelievable to see what it can do, how fast it can do it. It's almost an instant demo and a change on the fly that you just otherwise couldn't do. It's unbelievable.
it is pretty cool. So I'm going to show a couple more things. Now, again, I'm showing some of these like sort of secret buttons in the product. When you look at all the way on the right bottom, you'll see an icon that basically lets this preview go into a full screen, so that again customers can get a full experience. And now look, I'm looking at my screen, and this is all great, but I want to make some changes, right? And this is what I promised you around some of the more UI editing capabilities. For example, this budget field. Well, I want this budget field to show up in the summary panel. I want that to be a primary field, and that's a hell of a budget for Valentine's Day, I assure you. That will not be my budget. What I can do is I can highlight it. I can say, please make this field a primary field. I can just talk to my screen. We'll run through the Pega Vibe. We'll take that field and whoop, move it over to the left, over to the summary panel, which is where we display our primary fields. Yep. So I can again go in here and select this section, and I can say, please add another field to capture proper attire. I need to know, am I wearing a tux? Am I wearing, a hoodie? What kind of a gathering are we talking about? Right now, the sort of data model of the process evolved, and the process definition with this assignment has extended to take care of that additional piece of data just by highlighting and talking into it. Or I can basically.
Are there any limitations to Vibe?
Yeah, of course. This is our first iteration of it. But as with everything in Pega Blueprint, this will just evolve every week. And every week this will get better. So I encourage you to use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to highlight this thing and say, can you please make this field required? Accents are hard to get rid of. One day AI will understand my accent. So now we just made that field required, right? So I get to sort of sit down with my business sponsor, product owner, and go through this process step by step. And I'm not creating project plans. I'm just making the application work for them. But sometimes just basically typing this stuff is really not the right experience, right? Like, how would I know, for example, how did I know to call that budget field a primary field? Sometimes it's just easier to basically, just to take the field and just drag and drop it and put it straight onto the screen. And, this basically, this capability now exists. I can basically make it a part of the experience of building out my application through either dragging and drop at various different parts of the application. I can talk to it, I can highlight it. It gives me a lot of flexibility in how I build out a blueprint that is much closer to what the customer envisions in the for their application. Are we good so far?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Hey, Kerim, we have a question that came in. It's not so much on Vibe, but Blueprint. You want to take that right now? I can read it off for you.
Give me my next piece of the demo, and then
Go ahead.
let's basically
Yep,
take on some questions.
I like it.
Now, I showed the new vibe coding capabilities, and this is just the first foray into this, and this is going to move really, really fast. You saw some of the UI editing capabilities, and again, this is going to basically take off, and we're going to be able to be much closer to what the customers need. And then the third thing I told you about was the agentic assignment processing. Remember when we were running the process, I needed to figure out what kind of flowers I need to get and how many, and I was gonna sort of just have it agentically ask my wife. The way that this will work in the system is it will identify for the individual that is basically being reached out to the proper channel to engage with them. So you'll figure out if it's going to be SMS, if it's going to be WhatsApp, if it's going to be email, or if maybe it's an internal person, maybe a WebEx or Slack or Teams, and we'll reach out on that channel. But in Blueprint, in the Blueprint preview, we get to sort of experience that process through email, which is basically where it simulates it. So when we go through this process, right, we saw those steps before. Here we go. We got to the step to select flower types. Well, we basically said, well, we need to send it out. So when you're demonstrating Blueprint, you can engage with your audience and say, well, you're going to be a part of this. So I'm going to keep myself basically in there, and I'll pretend to be my wife answering it. The way this will work is at runtime, when it gets to this assignment, it will reach out to to that persona. It will ask for the question as to what is being requested. And I'm just this, and then quantity is, I'm going to say, are we saying 12 or 24?
24. You got to keep her happy. Come on now.
Just sounds like a lot of flowers. But basically, right? So I don't know if you can see on the screen. I received that email. I responded back to it. The listeners will pick up that email. Will map it directly into this into this assignment. It said basically Kerim responded and replied, basically sent to Kerim, and it basically lets us continue on with the process. So what I want you to envision is essentially a workflow, end-to-end workflow that basically has 3 different human assignments in it, and you enable agentic processing for each one of those 3 assignments. And then when you run that through here, or through basically the implementation, the system will just engage with those 3 personas in their preferred channels, and the workflow will just run autonomously rather than back office people chasing in data and tracking people down. Now, those personas will also be able to become MCP agent endpoints as well, to be able to tie this up with other AI agents in the organization. So these are the 3 new capabilities that I wanted to highlight for you all. We'll pause for a second, and we can pop in and do some questions if it makes sense.
Sure. Kerim, I sit back and I'm amazed every time I see you do the stuff you do, because nobody else is doing it. It's really fantastic, Kerim. Really fantastic. And the job your team is doing to just keep making this better. Nobody is sleeping on this. Nobody's taking it as is. Everybody is just saying, what can we do next? So
we're just getting started, Randy. There's gonna be a lot more, and it's gonna move faster. And as you also say, the industry is moving faster, right? So it is exciting times.
yeah, and it's exciting for us to be out there talking to people about it. All right. So a quick question that came in. Are screen flows, or the ability to do progressive disclosure in the Blueprint, on the roadmap? Those are the biggest pain points they currently have when prototyping more involved forms?
I thought some of the ScreenFlow capability was already in place. So that question is coming from Leon Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would love it if you would just send me an email with some screenshots and the ideas, the thoughts that you have that explain this pain point, and we'll work that into the missing bits into the roadmap immediately. That is an important part. It needs to work well, and it clearly is not there yet. So thank you.
Awesome. And if he doesn't have your email, he's got mine. He can send it off to me and I'll forward it to you if necessary. The next question came in. Can we create multiple applications from a single blueprint, or do we need to create separate blueprints per application?
If I understand it correctly, you can import the same blueprint into different application names and build multiple applications from it.
Yeah, that's how I understood that.
Assuming I understand the question correctly.
Excellent. And every once in a while, Kerim, they come in on my text messages, and the question is, what's the future of vibe coding beyond Blueprint?
Ah, great. That's a
That's
great
a good
question.
question.
It's a great question. It's a very important question. And I think you'll basically see, two threads of the future of vibe coding. One is, of course, the evolution of these vibe coding capabilities directly in Blueprint, right? You want to be able to do a whole lot more. You want to be able to do the business rules and the SLAs and the routing and the notifications and individual calculations and reporting aspects and the the authoring of the dashboards and the reports and the insights. So all of those things are very much in the immediate active development of vibe coding, as well as the UI authoring bits that we basically talked about, right? What you're seeing is a version 0.5. And then the second work stream is all about making the concept exists in a Pega App Studio or Dev Studio. So basically making so that when you're in the context of an application with your rule sets, and that you need to make changes to the application. Not that I want to change this activity to basically do this or do that, but I want to be able to incorporate this functionality or this user request, change request, or another. Have it be able to analyze the existing rules and be able to make recommendations and be able to do that, against the configuration rule base. The great questions.
Yeah, great. A couple more coming in. It's a dual question. How about some features to show off the layer cake, as in variations in processes, be it regional or product?
Yeah, we need to show that variation capabilities a little bit more clearly. I think that's an important valuable comment.
Thank you. Is it correct to say that when developing an app using a blueprint, I need to refine and perhaps edit some things?
It is correct.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that's, I think people should know that as part of Blueprint, that, that you can go back. I mean, that's part of the vibe thing, be able to go in and make changes on the fly when you need to. And, when you're working collaboratively with your sales folks, with your technical folks, you might see something that needs to be tweaked.
There'll be several things. Very, very much so.
Okay, we've got,
And what we need to get to, and I'd like to get to, is get to a whole lot more. You make changes, you experience it. You make changes, you experience it. Type of a rhythm, which is what we're actively working on.
Shivam writes, love the agentic checkbox and the agentic shape. When will we be able to combine agentic step with power of directed workflow automation so that the decisions are responses and not just instruction driven, but workflow driven and guided?
I'm not sure. Well, I got the first sentence. Thank you. I'm not sure if I understand the use case Shivam has in mind with that question. So I would again ask if you can write me basically a use case, and I'll try to get an answer to it.
Anand asks, is there any agentic AI blueprint in the roadmap that can replicate small micro applications based on an application URL submitted with placeable parameters just through a prompt without having to upload anything?
There is not yet. I think we'll still basically um going through the upload process, and there's a couple of different upload process based capabilities that are coming in that I'll talk about in a couple of minutes. But well, what I'm trying to do is basically have a consistent path to basically come out with a Pega application from Blueprint, from assets that feed into Blueprint. So old systems, applications, or screenshots, or AWS Q transform analysis, or app signatures, whatever, they come into Blueprint. We identify as is, we do the reimagination, go into Pega application is the current consistent process across.
Perfect. Next question. Great session. Thank you. I've been going through heritage modernization, but a few of our customers are looking for in-flight application modernization as they want to add in a module in an existing application using Blueprint, leveraging existing applications.
Yeah, so we need to bring in, we talk about blueprints, round tripping, which means essentially you already have an existing application. You want to pop out to Blueprint, maybe add a new workflow that leverages some of the existing assets within that application and import it into an existing application. And we're actively working on that. That's a great point, Nassim.
Excellent. The next one I think might be tongue-in-cheek, Kerim, but for Valentine's Day, shouldn't you be sending some Turkish delight was the question. I think more common.
No. She should be sending me some Turkish delight.
Just like to remind everybody, especially this weekend, there's a fine line between Friday the 13th and February 14th, Valentine's Day.
It's
All
coming.
right. Yep. All right. What are some basic prerequisites to make the demo more contextual to the customer? Meaning something like access to
Excellent question,
database.
Satish. Excellent question. So, and this is very important. And sometimes we're too lazy to do prep work for these demos. First of all, setting the org definition, org name is critical, right? Making sure that with the branding and the naming, all that stuff comes through. But what I would ask is go to their website, download some of their existing documents. You are basically building a demo for an insurance company, for a healthcare company, for a public entity. Their process definitions and their documents and their PDFs and their forms are already published. Upload them into your blueprint, and then use them as the basis of the blueprints that you are building. I, on the side, need to make Blueprint do a lot of that for you, and be able to do that essentially, digging and analysis for you, so that Blueprint is basically, understanding what the customers in assets that are already published and in the public domain are, in being able to make recommendations and suggestions and drive automations. So my main prerequisite is research the company, download some of their public assets, and use that to drive a demo, showcase Blueprint that will look magical and it will speak their language and their terminology, and not sort of generic stuff.
I talk about something a lot that I call practical blueprinting. Like, we've asked people to do blueprints, and then sometimes they say, How can I build a tree house? And they do that, and that's great. But something like what we're talking about, go out and do it. Just go to a web page. Doesn't matter what web page. See what you can pull down. See if somebody puts out an RFI, if you can pull down their capability statements and the things that they need, and just run your own blueprint, even if it's for you. Try to make it more practical to something that you're going to use in real life, that you're going to go. They don't all have to be that way. Some of them can be just for fun. That's why we have that button. But sometimes, practice the way you're going to play. Know what you're going to do before you go in there, and use those kinds of things that are out there in the public domain.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep going. We're gonna run out of
Would
time.
love to see a canvas wrapped around blueprint, things put in sticky notes or other thoughts, boxes, drawings, etc., that are necessarily ready to be entered into the blueprint.
Yeah, that's a good point. It would be good to sort of decorate, if you will. I don't know if that's the right terminology to use um for the definition, some ideas, some thoughts. Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like that came up before. It just didn't bubble up to the top.
This is a great and existing capability in build time. My ask question is from the customer standpoint: what AI specific capability are available as an API in Pega? Sorry to bring this up, but have seen Salesforce Portal UI and lately Einstein API being adopted. I'm looking for capabilities, differentiation that can help disrupt the narrative.
Um, so I'm not sure exactly sure which basically capabilities that you're pointing to, but there's basically several of them. One, we're basically making every single workflow that you build in Pega being readily available as an MCP endpoint. So you can call it agentically, building the conversational engagements for every single every single workflow that's in the application. We added the doc AI capabilities so that you can actually incorporate the document analysis and mapping assets, the content directly from the document into the data structure as a standard step. We're adding this, agentic assignment processing to make that a standard capability. We have the new, the agent rule to be able to bring in agentic execution directly into the workflow. We have the coach capabilities that provides guidance to the users, AI-driven guidance to the users directly in the context of the of the workflows. And Dharmendra, I would basically say same suggestion. If you see things, capabilities that would be valuable to add into the into the products, as long as they're not, private pieces of information that you'd like to share and recommend, my email and Randy's email is open to you, and please do not hesitate.
Yep. And
Awesome.
Britt, last question we've got: when can we expect fully integrated vibe coding in app and dev studios?
We're working on it.
That's all. Hey, that's what they need.
We're working on it. Now, I did have a couple of other things that I wanted to share
Go ahead. Yeah,
directly, if you don't mind, before we run out of time.
the floor is
Um,
yours.
yeah, thank you. So we talked about it. There is the agentic process fabric capability, which is around being able to essentially have an orchestrator of workflows and agents and buddies and data lookups across multiple applications, and to be able to have multiple applications and their workflows being registered into the agentic process fabric, and to drive automation across all of them. It's an important element of the offerings. And then there's two different topics that I'm going to basically run through really quickly in the next couple of minutes that I want to highlight. And we use these two terminologies, and I think sometimes we confuse people and we confuse ourselves with these words. So I want to basically try to sort of communicate them. The first one is around legacy transformation. When we say legacy transformation, what we mean is the customer has some sort of an old system out there from God knows when, running some old, outdated technology, and is stuck in some old machines, and they want to basically modernize. And we want to basically take their assets, run them through blueprints, and essentially spit out a modern Pega application. This is very much around the basis of the demo that I did at Pega World last June. I hope you were there, and I hope you got a chance to follow the demo. The idea was taking basically COBOL mainframe assets, sucking them into Blueprint, and resulting in an application that can run through an agentic set of processes. We also just announced the acquisition of a collection of technologies from a company called Adoptech to be able to do the same thing for notes applications. So many customers have notes applications from many decades ago. Now you can use this Adoptech solution to be able to transfer them into Pega via Blueprint. And then the next topic is the heritage Pega application. So legacy transformation is about old stuff that is not Pega, but you're going to hear clients say, well, like a bunch of my old stuff is actually Pega. What do I do about that? And that's when we start talking about the heritage Pega applications, which, if you've been in the Pega ecosystem for a long time, these screens will look familiar to you, right? These are basically screens from version 5, version 6, and version 7, right? So the Pega button, I think this right here, it came up in the version 7, and people want to modernize them. People want to basically bring them to the latest, which is where we basically had this new tool called the app signature. And the way the app signature works is it runs on that old version of the Pega application. It basically extracts what we call a signature of that app. So it tells us not just what's configured in the app, but it actually tells us what's actually executing and running in the app. What are the work items? What are the workflows? What are the decision rules? What are the data elements that are actually in play? What are the integration points that get invoked? Where is the volume of work that basically gets generated? What are the workflows that actually execute? And basically converts all of those things into a signature file. We basically import that signature file into Blueprint. We run our AI models against it, and we represent that work in that application as new sets of case types and data pages and integration points directly in Blueprint. We give the opportunity to the developers and the architects here to sort of reimagine that application of what it wants to be, and then imported on top of that older version to be able to give it a modern Pega application configuration experience. Having some of the core elements be used in leveraging the latest capabilities, but not thrown away a lot of the IP and the assets and things that work that's already in there. So if your workflow runs an activity, it still runs the activity. If it's running an integration point, it still does that. Security settings continue to be leveraged, and this is basically currently available on Pega Marketplace to be able to download, so that you can take a heritage application and bring it into the latest version of the Pega solution. So there's content on Pega Academy for this in the community sites. There's downloadable assets. There's a mission that explains to it, and it basically was just released about a month ago. Yep, and this is essentially a terrific opportunity for our partners. We believe this is a serious services opportunity, specifically for all these organizations that are supported by the partner ecosystem, to be able to bring modernization and come up to the latest version of these for these applications. And I am hoping that this will be interest to our partners and be able to drive more business and get our customers so they can leverage the latest capabilities in the product, and bring everybody up to Pega Infinity 25. And my last message is come to Pega World. Bring clients to PegaWorld. I just had a meeting with a client here in Waltham on Monday. The head of the division was basically saying, I was not considering doing a Pega project at all. I didn't have an understanding of your technology or your company. My basically, one of my colleagues essentially dragged me to Las Vegas to see Pega World, and he basically said, in that Pega World experience, he realized two things. He said he realized that, that this is a serious technology ecosystem, serious company, serious organizations, serious SIs are delivering value, and that there's a mature solution to be benefited from here was the first thing. And the second thing is, as he engaged with the main stage demos and the innovation hub and got hands-on into engagement with the technologies, realized that this was a technology that had to be a part of their architecture and ecosystem, and completely changed around their perception of the best way to move forward for the problems that they were looking to solve. So my ask is, drag them to Pega World. Show them what you've done with other customers. Show them what the technology can do for them. Have them participating in the ecosystem, and essentially change the level of engagement that we have.
Yeah, I can't say it enough with the keynotes, the hands-on demos, the face-to-face with executives, the ability to just interact with people walking through. You're not going to get anything better than that experience anywhere else. And what is it? Something like 50-60% of our last year's opportunities could be stemmed back to a Pega World experience that the people who implemented it had. So you got to go. You just got to go. Kerim, we have a couple extra questions, but in the interest of time, I'm going to get those to email to answer those folks, and let everybody get off here on time. I hate when we go late. I want to respect everybody's calendar. So that brings us to the close of another Pega Partner Hour. Kerim, just thank you very much. I can't appreciate how much time you put into this for us. I know how busy you are in the back-to-back calls. Thank you very much. To John Lynch, thank you very much for what you do in the background. We'll see you next on March 13th. We'll feature Mr. Anthony Leonardi. Until then, sell, be well. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.